Hope is not a strategy. The 6 Keys to Winning the Complex Sale by Rick Page. This is a book summary. You know that gut-wrenching feeling? That moment when you thought you had it in the bag, the deal that was going to make your quarter, maybe even your year, and then boom, gone, disappeared into thin air. Your emails, ignored. Your calls, straight to voicemail. And the worst part? Your competitor is now celebrating the win that should have been yours. I'll tell you why. Because hope is not a strategy. And if you're relying on it, you're setting yourself up to fail. Look, I get it. You had the best product. Your pitch was flawless. You answered every question, sent follow-ups, even played nice with procurement, but none of that mattered. Because in complex sales, the best product doesn't always win. The best sales strategy does. And that, my friend, is where most salespeople fall flat. They think sales is about features and benefits. They think it's about answering RFPs and sending out fancy decks. But the truth? Sales is war. And wars aren't won with hope. They're won with a battle-tested strategy. And nobody, understands this better than Rick Page. His book Hope is not a strategy. The 6 Keys to Winning the Complex Sale is the ultimate guide to outmaneuvering competitors, influencing decision-makers, and closing deals that others can only dream of. By the end of this video, you won't just hope to win your next big deal, you'll have a battle plan to make it happen. So buckle up, because we're about to break down the 6 keys to sales domination. Picture this. You're at the final table of the most intense, high-stakes poker game of your life. The room is filled with sharks, powerful decision-makers, seasoned executives, and gatekeepers who've seen it all. You sit down, feeling confident. You think you're playing blackjack, simple, straightforward, just stick to the rules and you'll win. But then you glance at your competitors. They're not playing blackjack. They are 3 moves ahead. They already know what the next obstacle will be. They've identified the power players in the room. They've subtly steered the entire decision-making process to work in their favor before you even placed your first bet. This is what complex sales feels like. More decision-makers, longer sales cycles, and if you don't know the rules of this game, if you're just hoping things will go your way, let me tell you right now, you've already lost. The problem? Most salespeople walk into deals thinking that having a great product is enough, that if they just pitch it well, the buyer will make the obvious choice. But here's what Rick Page exposes in his book. Products don't sell themselves, people do. Buying decisions aren't always logical. They're emotional and political. And winning sales isn't about hope, it's about control. So, how do you take control of the complex sale? How do you make sure you're the one playing chess while your competitors are stuck playing checkers? You master the 6 keys to winning. And that's exactly what we're diving into right now. Let's go. The battleground of sales, the moment where deals are won or lost. And if you walk in unprepared, just hoping for the best, you might as well surrender before the fight even begins. But not today, not with the 6 keys we're about to break down. This is your playbook for turning sales uncertainty into sales domination. Key 1, link solutions to pain or gain. Here's the truth. Nobody wakes up excited to buy your product. Buyers don't care about your specs, your fancy features, or your pricing model. What do they care about? Their problems. The secret to winning? Find their pain, and then make it impossible for them to ignore. Think about it. If someone is in a burning building, do you waste time explaining the fire safety features of your ladder? No! You pull them out of the fire. That's what sales is about, rescuing your buyer from their pain. Ask yourself, what keeps my buyer up at night? Is it declining revenue, customer churn, inefficient operations? Once you know, don't just pitch, position your solution as their way out. Key 2, qualify the prospect. A salesperson excitedly works on a proposal, pouring in hours of effort, only to find out later the buyer never had a budget to begin with. Oof, we've all been there. You chase a deal for weeks, maybe months, only to realize you were never going to win it in the first place. Here's the deal. Not every lead deserves your time. Some are just fishing for free proposals. Some don't have decision-making power. Some are just using you to negotiate a better deal with their preferred vendor. That's why qualifying early is your best weapon. Ask yourself, do they have a budget? No budget, no deal. Do they have real business pain? No pain equals no urgency. Are they using me as plan B to pressure another vendor? If they're not checking these boxes, don't waste another second. Chasing unqualified leads is like trying to fill a bucket with a giant hole in the bottom. You'll never close the gap. Key 3. Build competitive preference. The buyer is evaluating multiple vendors. One salesperson sits quietly, waiting for their turn, while another subtly steers the conversation toward their strengths, influencing the discussion before the competition even speaks. This is where sales turns into psychological warfare. If you wait for the proposal stage to differentiate yourself, guess what? You've already lost. Winning starts long before the buyer even realizes they're making a decision. Position yourself strategically. Get inside information on their biggest priorities before your competitor does. Align with key decision makers early. Subtly ask questions that expose your competitor's weaknesses, without being shady, of course. Imagine playing chess while your competitor is playing tic-tac-toe. You control the board, you set the rules, and by the time they move, you've already won. Key 4. Determine the decision-making process. A salesperson confidently pitches their solution, but then the deal vanishes into a black hole of decision-making. Emails go unanswered. Calls get ignored. You'd be shocked how many salespeople have no clue how buying decisions actually happen in their prospect's company. The reality? Decisions aren't made in boardrooms. They're made in whispered side conversations, internal emails, and behind closed doors. If you don't understand the power dynamics at play, you're flying blind. You need to map out the power structure like a detective. Ask yourself, who are the real decision makers? It's not always the person you're pitching to. What's their buying timeline? Where is the budget coming from? If you don't have these answers, you're guessing. Key 5. Sell to power. A salesperson passionately pitches to a mid-level manager who nods politely and says, "I'll pass this along to my boss." They just wasted their time. If you're not selling to power, you're selling to someone who can say no but never say yes. Skip the gatekeepers. Get to the C-suite. Speak their language. Make your pitch about strategy, not just features. Because here's the truth. If you're not talking to the person who controls the budget, your deal is dead on arrival. Key 6. Communicate a strategic plan. All right? You've made your case. The buyer is interested. But here's where most deals die. They stall out. Why? Because the buyer doesn't see a clear roadmap to success. Paint a picture of the future. A step-by-step plan that makes implementation easy. Clear milestones and deliverables, so they feel confident. A compelling ROI, return on investment, so the purchase feels like a no-brainer. If the buyer can't see how to implement your solution, they'll default to the safe choice, the status quo. And that means no deal. So here's the deal. Hope is not a strategy. But these 6 keys, this is your playbook for winning the complex sale. Link solutions to pain gain. Qualify prospects fast. Build competitive preference. Understand the decision process. Sell to power. Communicate a strategic plan. Master these, and you won't just close deals, you'll dominate. If you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's the biggest sales mistake you've ever made?